Hey, everybody, it's Karen Anderson here with Aortic Hope's Week in Review. And yes, you do hear it correctly. I'm getting over laryngitis. I swear, I just, I don't know. I just have a beacon on me that says, germs, please come find me. You know what? There is a chance it could be allergies. I don't really think that it is, but I don't feel sick. But boy, I got my mother sick. So maybe there was sickness. I'm not sure. But it was a fun, challenging days. It was my sister said I sounded like Kathleen Turner. Not sure. Is that good? Is that bad? If you like Kathleen Turner, I suppose it's good. All right. Week in review, where we review the information we put up last week. I know it seems weird. It's a week forward, what have you, but it gives you a chance to talk about it, share your views, share your thoughts, share your stories. I love hearing stories, everybody. I get tired of hearing my own stories. I do. So before we get started, do me a favor, click like, click subscribe, definitely like. If you can click like more than once, no, I don't think you can. Tell your neighbors to click like and your friends to click like. Click subscribe, click the bell because we have live events happening this week. You don't want to miss it. We have a live event happening next week. You don't want to miss it. And you don't have to try to remember because if you click the bell, you're going to get a ding dong notification. It's going to tell you we're live. And then you can jump in and you can join, right? It's important. Happy St. Paddy's Day, everybody. I got this from Ireland, actually. It does say Ireland on it, but it's all the way at the bottom. But this is my token St. Paddy's Day sweater that I'm wearing today. So happy St. Paddy's Day. All right, let's get into our movement from Movement Monday, which was last week. It's another check-in, right? Look, there's days where moving just seems completely impossible. I seem to have them very often. I do. I do. Although the cortisone shot that I got right in the joint of my shoulder seems to be working, but now I have to battle mentally being scared to overwork the shoulder, right? I mean, there's still an area that's pretty tight, and I'm scared if I start working out, I'm going to cause pain, and then I'm going to have it again. I got to work through this, right? But if anybody gets it, if anybody gets this moving is impossible sensation, I get it. I totally get it. If you're an aortic dissection survivor, if you have been newly diagnosed, look, we know exactly what it means when it feels impossible, right? Some days even getting out of bed feels like a victory. However, I will add into this post and say some days when I get out of bed, I feel like, how is it possible that I just broke every bone in my body? Or I feel like, when did I put on those slippers that they wear when you go scuba diving because I can't seem to make my feet work correctly? I get out of bed and it's like I have to let the skeletal system just kind of settle in to its place. And yeah, it feels like it's a chore. Or we flip the script and we say, I got out of bed. It's a victory, right? We always want to try to flip the script, attitude for gratitude, right? But other days we might find ourselves back in the hospital, right? We might be having a battle internally with a lot of anxiety because we're facing tests, we're facing procedures, and not all of that just means uncertainty. Okay. So it's a cycle that many of us have just kind of come to accept it as a normal way of life. It's a normal part of life. But then there are these good days. I call them window of opportunities. They never stay open long enough, I feel, but there are good days. So we've also said there's good days, there's bad days, and there's just days. But there are times when it's a good days where um, people wake up and they have a little pep in their step. They have a little bit more energy, right? And a little less pain, a little bit more freedom to move. Those are the days when I say, I'm going to go definitely take a walk. I'm going to seize the day and run all my errands. And then I come home and crash. But on those days, you really do need to seize the day. You need to make the most of those days and those moments. Um, Key is don't overdo it, right? So the power of intentional movement. This is something that I know Joyce, who spearheads our movement for movement, has talked a lot about. And when she prioritizes movement, even in small ways, she really can feel the difference. And that can be stretching. It could be taking a short walk or even dancing in front of the mirror, which I know I personally like to do quite often. But all of these little things, they do add up. They do add up so that you don't feel stiff like the Tin Man after a nice rainstorm, right? And when you move, when you can move, right? The more you move, the better you end up feeling, and the more positive days you might even have overall. So it's not about pushing yourself to the limit and just exerting everything you've got and exhausting yourself. It's really more about appreciating what your body can do in the moment, like today, and knowing that tomorrow can be different and being gentle on yourself and giving yourself that grace. So if today is a good day, move, right? Do whatever your doctors told you can do. And if it's just a day, then do whatever it is you can do. If it's just the minimum, that's fine. And if it's a bad day and your body's screaming and telling you not to move, then don't. So if you're having a good day, take that moment, intentional moment to try to move your body. And it doesn't have to be intense or exhausting, it just has to be intentional. So, for instance, the other day when it was beautiful outside, I was having a good day before I lost my voice. And I intentionally decided that was going to be the day that I was swapping out my closet. I feel like um, if I intentionally decided that my sweaters were going into storage and the winter clothes were going to be put away except for one or two pieces, and I bring out the spring summer clothes, then it will help that weather change. That's how I feel. But oh my gosh, I've got two bedrooms, two other bedrooms in my house that have all of those clothes in storage and drawers and in um, in the closets. Excuse me. So I have to take out the sweaters and I have to carry them into the other room and I have to take the stuff out of the drawers and I bring them back to the master bedroom and then put the sweaters away and then go back to the master bedroom and put the shorts and t-shirts away and then take things off of hangers and move them to. It is exhausting. I should have looked at how many steps I did that day, but that was intentional. I saved up the energy. I knew that day was coming. And I also packed up a lot of stuff and took it to the new home, right? And had to unpack and put that stuff away and just was I was literally exhausted. I actually attempted this weekend to use this gigantic like Swiffer machine and Swiffered the main level of this new house, the wood floors. And I was sweating so bad. And then I was like, I got a little bit of energy left. Let me just push it and use the vacuum. Like I don't do that anymore. And I vacuumed like the two primary bedrooms. And then I called my husband from the car because I still had like a 2 hour drive home. And I'm like, babe, I'm all for wiping down countertops and cleaning toilets, but I cannot do that floor. Just that continuous motion with my hand, the pushing and the pulling. My shoulder was killing me. I was out of breath. And you know what? I'm good with it. We talked a lot about this. I can't remember, it was a week or two ago about just letting that ego go. It's a fact. I'm not going to be vacuuming like that anymore unless I have to. I'm not raking any leaves and I don't like Swift rain floors. Just can't do it. It's too exhausting. So I do the things that I know I can do and give 100% of whatever energy I have into it, right? But when you are looking to do your intentional movement, here's a few ways that you can try to get started. If you just don't want to jump into it, you know you're going to feel like you break something. You know you feel like you're going to absolutely pull something. And we don't like the feeling of pulling something, right? Because it's uncomfortable. So take a minute and just stretch. I don't know. I sometimes feel like stretching hurts something. It just could be age. But like even when I want to just stretch my neck, I'm like something's going to crack the wrong way and then I'm going to feel bad, but you got to stretch. You got to get things warmed up to go, right? It's like a car that you haven't taken out for a drive for a while. You got to pump the gas a little bit and just kind of get it ready to go. If you've got a big task you want to do, just try taking a walk around your house. Just go out to the mailbox, come back in, etc. Start off a little bit slower, right? If you're having a day and you've had bad days and now you've got that good day, just don't go 100% full force. Maybe just dance for a minute in front of the mirror. Oh, I did do that. Actually, that's on film. That is on my Facebook right now, and I may just throw it up on TikTok. So I was out this weekend at a movie theater. My mom and my sister, we were like the only people. We went to go see Novocaine. Separate note, I just completely, ADD just went off in a tangent. Great movie. Laughed my butt off. I love when people get hurt. Home Alone's one of my favorite around the holidays. So this was like an adult version. The movie theater was gigantic, huge. They were playing music and on came the electric slide. And my sister says, I triple dog dare you. Now, for those of you that know, when you triple dog dare somebody like Christmas Story, you like kind of have no choice but to do it. I triple dog dare you to go down to where the screen is and start doing the electric slide. Well, of course I did it. And of course she filmed it. And of course it got posted, but that was a good time. And I did it for like, I don't know, maybe if it was a minute, I'd be thrilled. And I was exhausted, of course, because I'm battling this like kind of upper respiratory thing. But I did it. I even kind of like turned, did a spin, kind of like, got low. I was getting low, and everything hurt, but it was fun. And I went back up and ate my popcorn. All right, but I did. I danced for a minute, just did it, had a good time. I was like, all right, that's my exercise. Now I had to walk back up to like the millionth row where my mom likes to sit. All right. Here's another thing, simple. Let's go back to this post. Sometimes if all you want to just do is just move your fingers, wiggle your fingers, like roll your wrists, roll your shoulders, just anything to get the joints moving, right? Do some gentle seated exercises. Join Qigong on Sundays for free at 12:30 with community member Kevin Songer. He will get you stretching and you will love it. It's so wonderful. There's so many different things you can do. And movement doesn't have to be big and huge. It just needs to be meaningful and with intention. So also understand that every little bit of what you do counts. So don't be fearful to share your movement with us. And if you don't think I'm going to go back on Facebook and post my video on this movement for Movement Monday, you are wrong, because I am going to now. I think I did share something that day. I shared when who did I just do a video with? Oh, I just did a TikTok video with Terry from Aortic Hope for Lauren's Hope. So I shared that dance that we did. What kind of movement are you guys grateful for, right? What do you like to do? But again, listen to your body, talk to your physician, always consult your physician before you do exercise and stuff like that. But our journeys are very unique, right? And what works for one person might not necessarily work for another. The goal is to not push beyond your limits. It's to appreciate and use the good days wisely. So let's keep moving, even in the smallest ways, and make the most of your days. And that is from Joyce. And I loved it. It's great. Great post. Let's take a second and say hi to who's out there with us. Because remember, if I get at least a couple of you guys, 5 of you guys to join, we will do a drawing today for St. Patty's Day. So let's see who's got the luck with them.
Well,
Who's
so
on,
far,
Josh?
let's say hi to Velda and Melissa.
Hi, Velda and Melissa.
And Velda says, like my dad used to say, we have to make hay while the sun shines.
We have to make hay while the sun shines. Okay. I have to get tan when the sun shines.
Melissa says, from 0 or less than 4.6 miles this weekend, watching you now. I don't know what that means.
Okay. Well,
She
if
on
she's
a
watching
mountain?
now, she could be.
Yeah,
She could very well be. And if I were in like a place that had beautiful weather and sunshine, I'd be outside myself too.
I'm over the
And maybe
cold.
we'll do that one day. Maybe I'll try to do this from outside.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see.
And so Velda
Yeah.
says, I walked around the yard these days now that the snow is gone. Thank the heavens the
Yes.
snow is gone.
God, no more snow.
Melissa
I don't
says,
know how
we are
people like that.
burning daylight.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. It's getting darker later here. Makes me happy. That's what I like to see. All right, we are moving on. It is Topic Tuesday. Let me take a sip so I'm ready for these big words that we know that the med students like to post. Hmm. Hey, good news. We did find out that our very own Adam Ahmed, he has matched to a medical school. I mean, to go get do his residency. He's matched, but we don't know where yet. That comes out, and hopefully he videotapes himself like all the others when he opens up his envelope on Friday. So we're very excited. Just find out more. Definitely make that announcement. All right, guys. So here comes another week of Topic Tuesday. This is keeping up with the theme of medical imaging, right? We've been talking about all these different types of medical imaging since we introduced them all at the beginning of the month. Samantha gave us this nice introduction to what all of the imaging tests are, and Purab gave us echocardiography. So this past week, we're going to talk about cardiac catheterization. Pretty cool stuff, right? All right. So I think what this picture could be showing is stenosis. Yes. Okay. So we're showing some stenosis, I guess, as they were doing cardiac catheterization, and it looks like nothing's moving. Stenosis right here where it's thin. See, this should have probably had a little bit more blood flow, and in here, and yeah. Oh, and maybe like up in this area. Yeah. We're going to read on and we'll see what it talks about. All right. So when you're preparing for a cardiac or aortic surgery, your doctor might actually recommend a catheterization to provide some important information about the coronary anatomy of your heart. We did talk about this a little bit last week. And that I think is because they want to know a complete picture before they go in, because if there's something that's even more important while they're there, I guess they can fix it, right? And they'll know what they're facing as far as any blockages or issues while they're doing your surgery. So as a review, let's talk about this. The coronary arteries, they are the arteries that supply blood to the surface of the heart, right? And when they become blocked, they can actually cause chest pain, difficulty breathing, or heart attacks. So coronary arteries, very important to keep them clear. Here, let's take a look. A lot of arteries, a lot of things. I think we've seen this before. So here we've got at the top, you have your superior vena cava. This is actually, this pink right here is showing you the aorta, which goes up and then all the way around behind the heart, right? This is a branch that comes off, and this is showing you the left pulmonary artery. And then we've got, what else? We've got so many things. We've got the right atrium of the heart. We've got the right ventricle. You've got the left ventricle of the heart, right coronary artery. This is bigger, see? And this is feeding basically the heart off of here, off of all these other smaller arteries. And then you have your left coronary artery that's coming off the heart. We've got branches here that are your left pulmonary veins. These are going to go, I think, probably down towards the lungs because it says pulmonary. I am not a doctor. I do not know. I just think it's fun when I get things right because I love learning with all of you as well. All right. So it's recommended that anyone, excuse me, anyone over the age of 40 should undergo cardiac catheterization. If you are, let me rephrase this. It's recommended that anyone over the age of 40 undergoing cardiac surgery have a catheterization. Because if there's any, like I said, any severe blockages in the heart, the surgeon can help address them during the surgery. It's kind of like a twofer, right? And they can just deal with them before they start to show any symptoms. And usually a blockage of more than 70% or 50% in the left main coronary artery, because that's a little different, that would require an intervention. So here we go. Look, that's an issue. That's what that's called. That's called an issue. Problematic. That is calling stenosis in the mid-left anterior descending area right there. See? It's an issue. It's going to be an issue if it doesn't get fixed, right? So cardiac catheterization is considered to be a very minimally invasive procedure because it requires entering your body to get images. So it's not non-invasive, which would be just the images. So it's minimally invasive because it's going up through an artery. And this could be maybe in your groin, in your wrist, possibly in the neck, but typically in the groin, and then maybe in the wrist. And the procedure is done under light sedation. So yes, there is a chance that you may be aware of what's going on, but you should not feel any pain. And hopefully you don't remember it. You might be thinking in the moment, I do remember when I woke up in my catheterization the first time, I have no recollection. I didn't even know they gave me the anesthesia the second time, which really bummed me out because, anytime you're going to have anesthesia, you like to have the countdown. The falling asleep is the most fun moment ever. But the second one, they went in my wrist and I recall zippo nada. The first one had total conversations, was told, please stop talking because I got work to do, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, you shouldn't have any pain or any anxiety. They give you all that nice, good stuff like Versed to kind of keep you relatively relaxed. The cardiologist will make that small incision in your wrist, excuse me, or your groin, and they insert this very thin, flexible tube called a catheter into one of your arteries. And then they're going to watch it under fluoroscopy on the screen that you just basically saw up above. It produces that image, and they're going to tunnel it up to your aorta before entering the left or right coronary arteries, and they're going to inject it with dye. This is not like uh, I don't think it's like CT dye. I'm trying to remember if I pre-medicated. I can't remember if I did or not. That's a good question. I'm going to ask that at our Ask a Doctor event, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. But they're going to inject it with dye to get images of the blood flow. And with a catheterization, the cardiologist can actually measure the pressures in your heart. They can check for blockages in your coronary arteries and place coronary stents right away if it's needed. Uh, so here's another look. So you've got your heart, you've got your aorta coming down up and out of the heart. Excuse me. And then you've got the catheter. In this case, it's going in the groin area, right? Being inserted here. I don't recall it being that far down my thigh. Okay, so I don't think it was that far down. And it's going into the femoral artery, and it is going up, boop, 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 up here, and it goes all the way up into the aorta. And some people have asked, are we at risk for another dissection or something like that? And and again, I'm not a physician, have heard stories of people who have had a dissection while having a catheterization. It is not common. It is rare. Um, they are just going in the true lumen if you've had a dissection, so you don't have to worry about them going up the false lumen. That is not happening for 100% certainty. That is not happening. Sometimes they will go in the wrist so they can avoid, if you've had a full dissection, they may want to avoid as much of it as possible. But I don't know if there's a reason why they choose one over the other. That would be another great question to ask. So here's a closer picture. It's coming up, the aorta here, and going to go into right here into the what are we in into the coronary arteries. Okay, so here's another close-up of the tube in the coronary artery, inserting that contrast material, that liquid, and then this is the plaque blocking material that can cause stenosis or the hardening of that artery or a blockage. And you could, maybe people have heard that term rotor rooter, where they can go in and kind of take out that blockage, and a lot of different stuff they can do when they're in there. If you have kidney disease, though, it's very important to discuss this with your physician, because the contrast dye might actually strain your natural kidney filtration process. So that's important to discuss. And sometimes the doctors will help reduce the risk of this by giving you a lot of fluid before and after you start the procedure. So here we go again. Catheterization site. Look, look, see much higher up it is here. Down there was on their thigh. It goes up, 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 up. And the alternative site, they put this much higher here. It's lower down on the wrist. I mean, I'm sure it could be higher, but I know mine was really it was like literally right here. And when they were done, they put a see-through pressurized, looked like a watch almost, went around, and I could see through. The nurses could see through to make sure there was no bleeding, and it was very, very tight. It didn't hurt or anything. I could move my arm, and after so many hours, they would slowly deflate this band, and then kept checking to see if it was bleeding until it came off. It was pretty wild. I actually preferred the wrist over the groin. But usually you can go home the same day as your cardiac catheterization procedure. Your cardiologist and your surgeon will both get copies of the images and decide together if you need any bypasses done, or surgery or stents or stuff like that. So that was kind of it for this Topic Tuesday. So we're going to move into some additional tests for this week, but yeah, we wanted you to have a look at that, and let us know what your thoughts are. If anybody who's on here has had a cardiac cath, we'd love to know what your experience is. Now that you've all heard mine.
Molly has joined the chat.
Yay. Hey, Molly. Molly, Melissa, or Velda, anybody had a cardiac cath? I have to wonder. I do not know. They're not like painful and horrible. They're not pleasant, but there's something that once you've had it, you're like, yeah, I could totally do that again. That's, you know, it's no worse than getting a colonoscopy, or actually colonoscopy is probably worse because you have to prep, right? It's in the same level of tests. It's really not horrible, or not anything that you need to be scared of, or you're going to feel intense pain. Although in the groin, I was left with a pretty nice knot afterwards. That warm compresses, really help dissolve. But everybody's different, so can't really say exactly how your situation would be. But for the most part, people say it's a no big deal. All right, let's talk about.
Hold on.
Yes.
Melissa says nope, and Velda says not me.
But now you'll know what to expect if you need one. And the only reason I wasn't super scared is because I saw information like this and I was smart to ask the doctors as I'm interviewing them questions about myself so I could ask it and I would know before I went in and had it. I'm sneaky like that. When I realized it was not a big deal, that's what I did. Hey, it was brought to my attention because I totally forgot because my brain is probably full of whatever it is that's causing this laryngitis. Not only was I a guest on our live therapeutic Thursday with John Quick, it's like already 2 weeks ago. Doesn't even make any sense, but so is Molly. And you can check those out. All you need to do is go to programs and that's not there in programs. Where is it? We just got to go to YouTube, right? We can go. Are the links here in Therapeutic Thursday on the side? Possibly, but you can go to YouTube
You're
and you can
right. We
just look
should
them up,
probably add
right?
that to the programs
We
list.
should. Yep. And then you can see our interviews and listen to them and how we cope with the emotional and mental aspects of having aortic disease. It was a lot of fun talking to John. And now you get to do that too. So, John is a community member who survived an aortic dissection, but then he later became a therapist. Like, it's so great to have like a pocket Dr. Phil, you guys. You understand what I'm talking about, right? Who gets more than anything what you've been through. And he becomes so easy to talk to that I could have started sharing things from like, well, when I was 5, let me tell you what happened. He's just easy to talk to. And we had such a great time talking about the different things that have happened in our life from an emotional and mental health perspective after having a dissection. And we're really looking forward to having people sign up to be a guest. Come on, you know you want to, Melissa and Velda. You can do it. You'll be live on YouTube talking about whatever you're comfortable talking with. And you know what's so important about doing this? Just like the Survivors, just did you hear that squeak? Just like the Survivor series, you're going to give other people that are watching an opportunity to feel validated by what you share from the emotional side of things. And I know because I had somebody reach out to me immediately after I came off live, and they said to me, "Thank you so much. You said everything that I have thought. You said it." Like, so good to know other people think these, what we think are very private thoughts, private nightmares, private experiences. We're all up at like that 2 a.m. witching hour. 'Cause we're all thinking something. It was good to just say it and just let people know this is what I experienced because I think too many people think I'm perfect now and I have no issues. But if you really know me, you've got a lot of issues, right? And I'm so looking forward to watching what Molly talked about because we're all different and yet we're all similar, right? Like my big fat Greek wedding. He was talking about how one last name meant apple and one last name meant orange. And it's different, but they're still fruit. It's the same thing here. And I know I love listening to Survivor Series stories, and I would love to learn more about how all of you handled and still handle if there's issues um, about life with AD. So I don't care if you've been diagnosed with an aneurysm or you've got an issue with your valve or you're the caregiver and you now need to address this, this issue. What's it been like for you emotionally and mentally? What are some of the things that you feel and how have you worked through your recovery with this? Did you have a therapist? Did you do EMDR therapy? Do you do meditation? Do you do yoga? Do you do Qigong? What are some of the thoughts and how can we normalize the things that we feel? Because the emotional aspects of aortic disease are not discussed nearly enough. They just aren't. And some hospitals are making great strides in providing social workers to come talk to us before and after. Well, I don't mean before, I mean before, as in before you're discharged, and sometimes after. It's a requirement to see where we are mentally, but it's not discussed enough. It really just isn't. It's like a once a year conversation. It needs to be discussed more often, which is why we're bringing it up now every Thursday. And it is not to provide you therapy. No, 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 because you may or may not have a therapist. Although, if you feel comfortable and you want to ask a question, you want advice, you can ask how would be another way to approach this. He'd be more than happy to give a general answer because he is not your therapist, just like we don't get specific answers from physicians because they don't have our full file. He would love to just talk in generalities with you. And I would love to see everyone watching sign up to do this. You have no idea how incredibly helpful it'll be to others. So you can fill out the form. It's on our events. Anytime you see the Therapeutic Thursday, you got a chance to fill out the form to sign up. and someone will be in touch with you. I'm sure John will want to email you to get a little bit of information about what are the off topics, the things that you're just not comfortable talking about. It's perfectly fair. There's a link to join. And if you would like to ask questions while watching this event live, like you're doing here with me, you can do so. But if you want to remain anonymous, you can click this link and fill out an anonymous form as well, because your questions and anything you chat do stay out here live on these videos. So just a reminder, that happens every Thursday, and we'd love to have you as a guest. Therapeutic Thursday.
Velda says, you both were wonderful.
Thanks, Velda.
Molly,
You're so sweet.
Molly says, I had such a good time. John, you were right. He's so easy to talk to. I feel like she's texting and driving. Everybody scold Molly.
No, she's talking into her phone.
No, there's like .z here and some like
Oh,
other
she's typos. Love it.
She
Love
says,
that.
I def got to talking to a lot W John, blah, blah, blah,
Oh,
blah.
fun. Love it. Love those typos. Okay, very good. All right, but let's go on. Did you know that Friday was Pi Day? It was. It was actually the day of my very first marriage. It's Pi Day. And do you know, he still, if he ends up on the phone with me, sometimes he still says happy anniversary. I'm like, okay, whatever. 27 years later, thanks, but I'm not married to you anymore, but appreciate the sentiment. Yeah, that's only because we have a child together. We just have a very healthy co-parenting existence with each other. So yeah, Pi Day. Never had pie that day. Or did I have some? I did have some pie that day. It wasn't very good, but I did some chocolate, a little taste of a little baby chocolate pie. So happy Friday and Pie Day. It was a great time to celebrate math and pie. What an awesome combination. How do you do that? Do you say, I will have one pie? I will have two pie. I don't know how you do that. So whether you're a fan of numbers or you're just in it for the tasty treats, that day was all about enjoying some delicious pie in honor of the famous 3.14 blah, 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 blah. You know, all those million of numbers that fall after it. So what's your go-to pie, guys? Are you all about classic apple? Do you like something a little more adventurous? Why don't you share with me now? But I'm going to tell you a very funny pie story. So one year of Thanksgiving, it was my year. I was not making apple pie. I was making chocolate silk pie because I love chocolate pudding over top of graham cracker with whipped cream. It's like so yummy. How hard can it be? And then when I took a bite of it, it was very hard, evidently, because I used a ton of salt and never used the sugar. How this happened, I have absolutely no idea. But I am never allowed to live that down. But I have made good chocolate silk pie since. Yep, yep, yep. And during Passover, I can make a mean baklava with matzah. Yeah, it just takes a lot of time because the stuff falls apart when it gets wet, but I can do that as well. I don't like baking, so that's about the extent of it. I made blueberry pie a couple times for my husband when it's like his birthday or our anniversary. I'll make blueberry pie homemade with like crumble on top. It feels like it takes everything out of me. I just cooking, just I'm intimidated. I'm intimidated. I can never do something like that. But I did. I made an apple pie this year, actually, in September for Rosh Hashanah, and I took strips of pie crust, not homemade, of course it was store bought, and I tried to braid them. It did not look braided, but it looked decorative and still looked good to eat. So, what does everybody say their favorite go-to pie, if they have one, is? What is it?
Well, let's
Just
see
curious to know.
here. Melissa says custard or lemon meringue. Meringue? Lemon
Did you
meringue?
say merengue?
I'm just reading
Damn.
fast.
Okay.
And she says, oh my God, it's easy to do salt and sugar.
Mm-hmm.
Velda says, pie. Favorite is banana cream.
Oh, yes. I could do banana cream. I do love banana pudding with vanilla wafers. That's another favorite too. That is definitely, but my absolute ultimate, I will never turn down dessert at a restaurant. So here's my thing. Appetizer or dessert, right? I gotta go appetizer because it's a chance for me to taste additional food that a chef cooks. Like that's how I view it. And I can always sneak bites out of other people's desserts, right? Without getting my own. And then I feel like a piggy. But If there's bananas Foster, there's no way I am turning it down. It's my ultimate dessert. I love it so much, I can't stand it. I mean, I totally stand it so much that I can't pass it up. I have to eat it all the time.
Okay. Melissa says 37 layer of phyllo dough, but need to have a full sheet. Lots of work.
Yeah. But what? Baklava, I'm assuming.
I have
Not
no
for,
idea.
yeah, custard. Yeah.
Molly says no pie for me. And I agreed with Molly until a buddy of mine. I was at his family's house for Thanksgiving, and his mom was like, "You've never had pecan pie?" And I'm like, "I'm not a pie guy." And she was like, "You're gonna have to try this pecan pie. I made this pecan pie."
And was it good?
It was amazing, and I've never had
Yeah.
anything like it since. But that
Yeah.
opened my eyes, and
Yeah.
several years later, another very good friend of mine, his mom made sweet potato pie, and
Ooh, yum.
yeah, and I turns out I love sweet potato pie. Now, as a child, we would have pumpkin pie at the appropriate times.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did not know that sweet potato pie was like pumpkin pie on steroids.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
I did not know that either.
yeah.
I
So
stole the recipe from the Cheesecake Factory online, and I make a really good pumpkin cheesecake. I can do that too. So, you know what? I guess I bake more than I thought. I just don't do it.
that's what it
I
sounds like.
don't like it. That's what
She
it does
says,
sound like,
"Yeah,
doesn't it?
baklava."
Yes, baklava. Yeah, it has a million layers of that phyllo dough. Yeah, I do like that. All right, Saturday, changing the topic, reminding everybody we are back with the Where Are They Now campaign. This is also equally as important as our Survivor series, which we talk about all the time, where we're looking for you to share your story of survival, or if you've lost a loved one, or if you're the caregiver. We want to know symptoms and we want to know what the diagnosis was like, because so many times people are misdiagnosed or they're just sent home. That's all important information, especially for Think Aorta US to share with physicians. It's an educating tool, right? But this we are looking for all of you past storytellers, and we're going to find you guys. We want to know where you are now. We want to hear that update on your journey. We want to know everything, all the graduations, the birthday parties, the weddings, the babies, the buying, getting new dogs, the buying a new house, the what are you doing, new marathons that you won. We want to know it. How has your life changed since you first shared your story with us? Have you had additional surgeries? We definitely want those updates, right? What's that message you want to give others who are just starting that journey? And I've always said, and this is more of an instantaneous journey share, when I was in the hospital, if I had a patient come in before I was discharged and said, "Hey, I had an aortic dissection, look at me, I'm standing upright," I probably wouldn't have taken a wheelchair the first time I went back for my clinic visit, because I just thought, one, I didn't have the strength, and two, if I walk, I could fall down and die. I'm going to implode. I didn't know anything about this. This rocked my world as it rocks many, but I would not really walk. I became very anti walk, anti everything. And but again, if somebody had stood there and been like, I had one, and here I am talking to you, laughing, I'm upright, we're chatting, I would have felt this sudden sense of hope, right? I've talked about it when it comes to the ostomy that I had. These nurses came in and wore an apron with fake body parts, felt body parts, Velcroed on their intestinal area, and then put a bag on it. They were like, "This is what it's gonna be like. This is how you attach it. This is," and I said, do you have a bag?" And they said, "No." I said, "So you don't really know what it feels like to wear one?" And they said, "Well, we put them on our skin to see, how it sits, but no, we don't know what it's like." I said, "Well, so then why are you the one that's showing me how to use this if you don't know all the tricks of the trade and everything?" And um, that was a reinforcement to me to know that we need to share our stories, because um, we're the ones that know what we're doing, right? That's why we have support groups that are led by survivors or by caregivers, because we're the ones that lived it. No offense to physicians or nurses or social workers, but if you haven't had a chest tube come out, you don't know how to describe really what it feels like. right? If you haven't had your chest sewn up, you do not know. If you're not walking around with a mechanical valve, you do not know. You're just reading what was in a textbook. But when you've had these things and you can share them with others, it's much more relatable. And so I always felt if somebody had come into my hospital room and said, "Look, I have an ostomy. Here, look at it," it would have been a lot easier. I did go on a retreat before I had the ostomy, and I did meet women who had ostomies. I just didn't really give it that much thought because I never thought I would have one in my entire life. And so I asked a million questions and they showed everything to me, and I saw it, and it just was pretty cool. I thought it was pretty interesting. I mean, these people are doing everything, kayaking and ropes obstacle course, and they're getting massages. It was nothing that somebody couldn't do. They just go to the bathroom differently. And I think that's part of why I was not so scared, because I at least had exposure. But I thought about all those people who've never seen one before in their life, and they can't even get another person's real life experience to be shared with them. So even when we talk about where are they now, we're looking for people to share real life stories. Where are you now? Talk to the new people in the community. Let them hear your stories, because all you're going to do is give them hope. And sometimes hope is all somebody has, right? That's all they got. And if you had said to me 10 years ago that if you had shared stories with me about all these milestones, and if someone had said to me, there's a chance that you're going to get it, you're going to be able to see your son get a license, graduate high school, graduate college, move out, get an apartment, have his life, all these things, I just never would have believed you. But I started hearing stories. I started telling my story. We created this, and then people started sharing stories who have been with us in this community 17 years, 30 some years. And when you start hearing that and you start hearing what they're doing, you realize I can do that too. If they can do it, I can do it too. I can at least try. Right. So sign up. Come on, tell us where you are. We want you to be part of this very special campaign. And we can get you set up for a recorded event. We can get you set up for a live event. You can do it in written form, although a funky computer voice is going to read it, but whatever makes you comfortable, whatever you want to do. Let's celebrate and uplift people, and let's give people hope. Help us help others feel hopeful, right? And share your story today. That's that. Made that a commercial. But only in the Kathleen Turner voice is it really impactful. Okay,
I was going to say, I really think that you're enjoying your voice and you're swinging for
I
the
am.
fences today.
I am. I'm kind of enjoying. It's kind of maybe a little Demi Moorish. I'm stretching, but it could be
You're going for it.
not anything else.
Before you jump into the upcoming week here, I
Yeah,
should note
great.
we do have an addition on this Saturday. We have a live Survivor
Oh,
series, and that teaser is up on YouTube Shorts. Are
who
you
is the person?
optimized, Duante Barnett? Are
Oh yeah,
you optimized for video and sound in your share?
I can be
Yeah, click those
right now.
buttons.
And where do I go now?
YouTube. Let's just go click. There's a YouTube button right in front of you.
Lord knows what's going to come up here on the YouTube.
That's going to be Aortic Hope's YouTube.
Okay.
And it's going to confirm that you've subscribed, and then click
And I am
Shorts.
subscribed. Shorts. See, look how easy it is for all of
And
you.
then
Oh, here we are.
let's go ahead and watch that.
Yes.
Yes. You have to unmute.
Dante Barnett. I'm an aortic survivor, comedian, sports broadcaster. I have a crazy story to tell you about how 2 days after turning 43, my whole life changed. December 16th, 24, I found a blood clot and had a femoral bypass. And the next day, my heart exploded. I had an aortic dissection and I had a quad bypass. I'm a comedian. I went through hell. I lost a couple days. I even fought with my nursing staff, if you know what I mean. I want to tell you about the ups and downs of going through this. There's light at the end of the other tunnel, and don't follow the light while you're in recovery. Do not, do not go to the light. Do not go to the light. Don't tell them about the noises you hear either, because nobody wants to end up in the psych ward. By the way, it's Dante Barnett, March 22nd, 7 p.m. Eastern Time on the Aortic Hope TV YouTube. Check me out. Have a laugh. Grab some popcorn. You might cry a little. It was sad, but let me tell you my story.
That's awesome. Yeah, we haven't announced yet, but Dante is going to be our latest Hope ambassador. He is really looking to spearhead sharing his story through comedy and wants to have quite a few events. Whether it's in Hawaii, I can only hope, because I have to go. Could be Seattle, could be a city near you. I could not get through my conversation with him without being in stitches. Let's just say he is very funny, very unique, distinct sense of humor. And I think you're going to enjoy listening to him. But it's amazing what he's been through. He's older than he looks, but still very, very young. And it's pretty amazing, all of the different things that he has done in his life and that he's still looking to accomplish, and he's shifting some of his focus to helping us. I will be announcing him in the next day or two, and then you guys all get a chance to learn more about Dante. Despite his name being spelled Duante, it is Dante. You'll get a chance to learn more about him this Saturday. What time is that?
7 p.m.
7 p.m. See, another reason why you got to click subscribe so that you'll be notified when this goes live, and I guess I'll be adding that to our events page. All right, we are going to wrap up here talking about the events. Okay, yes, so today is this. We have a caregiver support group meeting
refresh
tonight.
That page. That's already fixed.
You
were too ready for me.
All right, we have, look at that, caregiver support group meeting tonight, 8 p.m. Sign up once. You'll get that link tonight via email. Hey guys, we have Ask a Doctor. We know Dr. Prakash was just interviewed live with Aortic Hope and Aortic athletes with Carmen and Jack Crow, but we get his attention here simulcast. So he will be on tomorrow evening answering your questions, which are on a public Aortic Hope page at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. So as we always do every other month, you will see his face pinned at the top of Aortic Hope's Facebook page. And that's starting at 6:30 p.m. You will have the ability to post your questions there. Remember, it is public. If you do not want to post your question, but you wish to remain anonymous, when you click on this link, you will see there is an anonymous link in the body of the post for you to send us in this form your anonymous question, and it will be asked for you. So you will be putting your questions there. I will be live on with Terry sharing those questions on YouTube. And as he joins to answer, I'll be sharing the answers. And all of you here on YouTube have an opportunity to put your questions in the chat here, which will be copied and pasted into Facebook. And as he answers those, we will be sharing them with you. We will only be here from 6:30 to 7:30, but Dr. Prakash will be going at probably until 8:30. So if you do not have Facebook, we will do our best to go back, and based upon where we leave off, we will try to get questions to you. We won't be able to take any more from YouTube and get them over there because we won't be monitoring it. But if you're on Facebook, you'll have a chance if you want to flip over to there to ask your questions. Okay. Then we talked about Therapeutic Thursday for this Thursday. I'm not sure if we have a guest. I think we have a potential guest, but there's still time for you to sign up and try to be a guest. So it's either this Thursday or it could be another Thursday of what works for you. Always on Sundays when we have Qigong. Monday will not be Tammy. I just found out, unfortunately, it will be me. Not unfortunate for you, or maybe unfortunate. I don't know how you view it, but it will be me. And then I will be adding the information for our live event, which happens on Tuesday, the 25th, with Dr. Pedro Catarino from Cedar Sinai. We are going to be talking all about aortic valves. Okay, that's because we just came out of aortic or heart valve disease day, which was February 22nd. So we couldn't catch him that month. He was very busy. So we're going to talk a lot about any new things that are happening in the valve world, right? Is there any new products coming out? Anything we need to be keeping our eye out for? Any changes with mechanical? What's going on blood thinner wise? What are we still required to take Coumadin? Is there going to be a change? Anything like that, as well as taking any of your questions that you might have about aortic disease in general. That begins at 7 p.m. here Eastern. You'll be able to ask your questions here. There will be a link to the anonymous questionnaire again, and we will be ready to take those questions too. Our general open to anybody support group meeting, the last one of the month, happens on Wednesday, the 26th at 7 p.m. And then we just have our couple regular things till we ride out the rest of the month. Oh, wait, no, we're missing something. We're missing one. How did we miss the one? We have Monday the 31st. It's not on here. I don't know what happened. We have our WISE meeting, the Women Inspiring Support and Empowerment. It's our support group meeting only for women. That happens on Monday the 31st at 7 p.m. That will be updated as well. That is our events for you. That is all I have. So I will be with you for the rest of the month. I won't sound as great as I sound now, unfortunately. You are right. I'm kind of rocking with the voice a little bit.
You're
I am.
enjoying it, yeah.
I kind of am. If someone clunked me on the head and I woke up with a British voice, I'd really be enjoying that a lot. So who did we have? We had Velda, we had Melissa, we have Molly,
Yep.
right?
Yep. And so Melissa did say, she said, custard has more protein for a diabetic. I missed that. I didn't see that because she said, yeah, baklava. She also
Baklava.
Well, okay.
Baklava.
Yeah. And so she did say his writings on the forum are worthy of poetry book, free verse. Dante.
Oh, really? Oh, great. I'm glad he's starting to utilize that a lot more. He does some really funny videos. And then he did one the other day. He was driving and he was singing actually to a song in the car. I was pretty impressed. And going through some pain, missing his mom, and I love how he expressed himself. I'm a fan. I think I'm a fan. So yeah.
I want to
I think I'm a fan.
It was Velda, Christina, and Molly that sent me his link. One of them, one of the three of them found it, right? And I watched, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, this is what we're talking about." Yeah. And so I left a message on there from the Aortic Hope channel. I was like, "Hey, when you're ready to talk about this, feel free to reach out." He never saw that message. So while we were having our little first chat, he goes into YouTube. He's like, "Oh yeah, there it is."
Well, I mean, he's been a little busy getting out of the hospital.
I totally 100% understand.
And then he was talking to me. So yeah, I get it. Well, guys, you all have the luck of the Irish.
Molly.
Everybody has the luck. But no luck today in giving something away. I'm so sorry. I have to follow the rules. But I thank you all so much for joining. I really, really do. It's been wonderful. And don't forget to click like, click subscribe, click the little bell so that you're notified for all these great events that are coming up that we just shared with you. And click share because we know that somebody will get something out of the stuff that we just talked about today. Really good stuff. Have a wonderful day. See you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.